I'm Amy Simpson with Brownfield Ag News, and we're here with Curt Blades, Senior Vice President of Agriculture for the Association of Equipment Manufacturers. To start off, 2021 Commodity Classic is next week. What can we expect from this year's event?
Well, thanks for having me on, Amy. And obviously, the Association of Equipment Manufacturers, AEM, is really thrilled to be partnering once again with Commodity Classic to help put together what we think is the best in class educational event in North America. Now, having said that, we'd love to be together. We'd love to be together, but this year we can't be. But what we've been trying to do as the planning committee for Commodity Classic is put together as much of the essence of the education component that you're able to get with Commodity Classic and deliver it in a virtual environment. There's a lot of things that a farmer or attendee can look forward to. Not quite the same as being able to network and as they normally would, and if we were in person, but that same educational component, that essence, is absolutely going to be there during the week of Commodity Classic this year.
And as you mentioned, those sessions are still taking place. A lot of them are going to happen. So what can farmers or attendees expect to take away specifically from some of those education events?
Well, last I counted, there were just right around 50 education sessions. So there's something for everybody, honestly. Whether that is the latest and greatest information about crop protection products or techniques or ideas that are coming from the experts in the industry, or whether it is new technology from the engineering front and the equipment front, new technology that is helping farmers become more efficient, more environmentally sustainable, or just basically be better operators. Those are clearly a part of the education mix. Some of the softer things that are important to manage out the rest of a farming operation, things like rural health and mental health in the farm economy. Some of those things are really important, are coming forward, as well as the things that I kind of like to talk about, which are very much forward looking and equipping farmers with the tools they need to speak on behalf of agriculture to their constituents that aren't as familiar with farming audiences. Those are going to be talked about as well throughout that whole week of Commodity Classic.
And you mentioned, wishing we were in person, but what are some of your thoughts about the virtual setting, being able to still do this? And do you think it will allow more people to be able to participate?
Well, that's a really good question, Amy. And I'll tell you, one of the things that makes Commodity Classic unique is the fact that it is an industry gathering, and you have farmers and industry folks and stakeholders in the industry all come together in one particular place, and it's a gathering of the industry. Well, that unfortunately we can't have that gathering component that we would normally have. But one of the other things that makes Commodity Classic so unique is that education component. And by having it virtually, it's been proven time and time again, when things are virtual, there are folks that maybe have always wanted to attend Commodity Classic, but can't because of travel or commitments at home or unable to get away from the farm or kids in school or whatever it might be. They can experience at least that education component of Commodity Classic this year and hopefully get a taste for it. And when we're coming roaring back in New Orleans next year, they'll want to come to it. So I think we're going to see a lot of folks engaging in different ways, and we're really excited about that. The other thing that anytime you go online, you open yourself up to a global audience. And although global focus has not necessarily been a focus Commodity Classic, it goes without saying that we would expect to have a broader range of attendees at Commodity Classic this year. And I think that's really exciting. I think that's going to bode well for years to come. Again, folks get a taste for it. They may be part of this club of Commodity Classic for years to come, and I hope it will just make our industry that much better.
It's really cool to see those new opportunities. And, being early in the new year, a new administration, classic, there's going to be talk about policy as well. What policy issues are top of mind for AEM?
You bet they are. That's one of the things that AEM has in common with our partners in Commodity Classic is obviously we spend a fair amount of time in DC as well as in the state capitals around the nation. With the new administration, and we've invited the Secretary of Ag to speak at Commodity Classic. Assuming he gets confirmed later on this week, he'll be with us next week. That's pretty darned exciting. But that gives us a chance to have sort of a one-on-one conversation with those policy leaders within AEM. Our policy issues, very much align on the ag front with the commodity associations. We are very much interested in demand for for commodities, whether it's corn, soybean, wheat, sorghum, animal products, whatever it might be. We love demand for products. Selfishly, the more farmers make on income, the more they have to invest in their capital equipment. So obviously that's where my interest is going to be. But a lot of those other issues that are very important to rural America and agriculture in general are some of our highest priorities. Infrastructure is number one on AEM's list. We believe really strongly in obviously the roads and bridges that come with infrastructure, but also rural broadband and the opportunities that those infrastructure improvements bring specifically to rural America. Because obviously agriculture is at the heart of rural America, but rural America exists, for other businesses as well. And the more we can improve that infrastructure in rural America, the better farming is, better agriculture is, the better, America is in general. And then finally, we are always interested in regulatory and tax reform. We want to make sure that we have an environment that is very friendly to businesses, whether it's a small business of a farmer or whether it's a business that's supplying the products that farmers use to grow food for the rest of the world. So we want to make sure that the regulatory environment is friendly and that is rational, makes sense for farmers. But also we want to make sure that the tax program is such that that they can continue to reinvest in their businesses and that they can enjoy the benefits of those labors and continue to grow their operations. That makes sense, again, to continue to feed the world and make the United States the great feeder of the world that we are.
That's critical. And any other goals for the organization during Classic or also beyond too?
Well, as we mentioned, AEM is a little bit different than the other folks in that we represent the equipment manufacturers. And the reason why AEM is a partner in Commodity Classic is because we recognize that those farmers that attend Classic tend to be a step above. They tend to be the ones that are truly interested in being in their business for the long haul, either in somewhat of a growth mode or they're in a business that's always looking to improve just a little bit. So we want to reach those folks. So our goal is always to put our technology in front of these cutting edge farmers, these thought leaders, and it becomes a two-way street. Obviously, we like to share our new technology, but we also like to hear back from the farmers on some of these ideas, because that can lead to great products down the road.
And anything else you can think of we didn't touch base on you want to make sure is included?
Well, I think the one thing I would encourage is if your listeners have not registered for Commodity Classic, please do so. You're going to find a lot of information. The other thing that's worth noting on Commodity Classic this year, because it is virtual, obviously you can participate in the information live, and there'll be ways for us to provide some networking live and communicate with those farmers and post your fellow farmers in the settings when they're live. But this is also all going to be archived for a few weeks following. So, I mean, this is great content that if you miss something, go back and watch it again or watch it multiple times and share it with your friends, because I think this is where the conversations happen for our industry. And hopefully it's going to set the tone for a very solid 21 and beyond for the ag industry.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for talking to us. And that was Curt Blades with AEM. And I'm Amy Simpson with Brownfield Ag News.